expect Dez to have on Lamar?
I think he could potentially have a decent impact, assuming he can play. He's on the practice squad last time I checked. Let's see if he makes the roster. Number one, there were questions about what kind of shape that he was in. He's been out of football for a couple of years, close to 3 years. So we got to take that into consideration. We don't know what he can do. What I would say to you, however, is this. Daz Bryant, once upon a time, was a big physical receiver that even when he wasn't open, he was somewhat open because he can go and get it for you. Now, they don't need necessarily a tight end when you got a guy like Mark Andrews. But what you do need is somebody that you can rely upon to catch passes in between the numbers and catch short yardage passes and what have you. The reason why that's so important when it comes to Baltimore, first of all, you got the second worst passing attack in the entire NFL. You rank 31st. But secondly, and more importantly, you've got relatively small, speedy receivers, okay? And if somehow, some way you can neutralize them at the line of scrimmage or you can prevent them on their fly patterns, nobody wants to go into the middle and catch footballs for the Baltimore Ravens. You need somebody's willingness to do that, particularly when you've got somebody like a Lamar Jackson who has the ability to extend plays. If he had like 1 or 2 seconds max where it's Tom Brady or somebody like that, I would say, hell no, this is not a good situation because Dez wasn't that kind of dude when he was younger and healthier. So now that he comes off, I think was it an ACL injury, if I remember correctly? Was ACL or was it Achilles? I don't remember. But the point, it was Achilles injury. It was Achilles, right? What I'm saying is the fact that you're coming off of that, we don't expect you to be what you used to be. But Lamar Jackson's ability to extend plays and you catching passes in short yardage situations, I think that can be an asset to the Baltimore Ravens. And that's why I say it's possible that he can have a decent impact.
Well, let me tip my cap to you, sir, because that's a great way of dressing this up. Like, you just gave the best argument you could for why this would matter at all. That's not just the story, right?
Right.
But the reality is, Stephen A. Smith, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're the one who's usually sitting here and goes, this won't make a damn difference, and it won't. Okay. Like, you want to say it will, you can say what you said. You can say something like, if he makes the team, that means he was the best option, right? Yeah. And so he has some marginal utility over whoever the replacement would have been. Because when you say, does he help Lamar Jackson, you mean, does he help him compared to who else would have that roster spot? I suppose if he's on the roster by some very marginal kind of margin, that he has helped them in that way. And you're dressing it up about he's a 50-50 ball receiver, right? Could be. You could throw it to him, and he has a good chance to somehow make the play on the ball. And okay, I guess, is that exactly what they need? Nah, they could use a dynamic receiver. I know Antonio Brown came with a lot of baggage, especially for a young quarterback. Maybe he's better off in Tampa or would have been in Seattle than in Baltimore. And also, I think AB would have had too much leverage on the Ravens because he'd have been too important to them. Mm-hmm. But, that would have been an impact. This is nothing. This is a nice feel-good story if Dez makes the team, and that's it.
Well, sometimes the people that you play with help make you look better than you might actually be because you're not asked to do but so much. And I think that's the point that I want you to grasp. Remember, we don't even know if he's going to make the team. He's on the practice squad. We understand
He
this.
hasn't played in 3 years. The last time he played the same week, Lamar was playing at Louisville.
There you go. And so because of that reality, we don't know what the hell it is. But what I'm saying is if you got a guy in Lamar Jackson who's scaring the living daylights out of secondaries because of his elusivity and his ability to run with the football, obviously your secondary is compromised. You combine that with you being a big target. Let's say, for example, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but hypothetically speaking, what if Daz Bryant was going to see some time at the tight end spot? You understand? You ain't looking, everybody's looking for you to run downfield. They're looking for you to catch passes at 5 yards. Excuse me, Gronkowski could barely move after some of the injuries he sustained. He was on stage after he retired from New England crying about, you don't know what I was going through. You don't know what it was like health-wise, etc. What I'm saying to you is that if you've got a quarterback that knows how to run with the football and he's that electrifying and he extends plays, you might find yourself open by accident.
But you're falling into the trap. Like, I remember David Tyree with the helmet catch in the Super Bowl 07, beat the undefeated Patriots. He was such a hero in New York, and I was doing Max Kellerman show on New York radio at the time, and we talk about Tyree all the time and all that. Tyree never caught another pass for the Giants.
That's true.
Like, this is a ruthless, talk about a meritocracy.
But who was throwing the football?
Fine, but the NFL doesn't care what you did yesterday. They want to know what you're going to do on Sunday.
Right.
And I don't think at this point in his career that Daz Bryant makes a difference on Sunday.
Let's end the segment by asking and just throwing out this, whether it's hypothetical or rhetorical, whatever word you want to use. Antonio Brown was available.
Yeah.
And they didn't pursue him. Okay? But they pursued Daz Bryant. What I'm saying is, we know Daz Bryant is no Antonio Brown, but there has to be something inside of you that's looking at what you need and saying, excuse me, I kind of need this guy. He could help us.
And his cousin's on the team. Yeah,
they could use another guy who could catch on the team. And if he's the best option, because that Tyree thing works in his favor, too. In other words, they ain't sentimental. If he's on the team, it's because he earned it.
We ain't expecting no 1,000-yard season or anything like that. I'm just saying somebody that's serviceable that, you could throw the football to every now and then. He could get some passes for you, particularly in short-yardage situations.
At the end of the day, I can't wait for this game on Sunday, Ravens-Steelers. And I know I was proud of your objectivity. Stephen A. saying yesterday on our show that he'll believe his Steelers are legit if they can ultimately beat the Ravens.
But honestly, just really playing this year, putting everything I have into it, not really focusing on next year, whether, I leave or stay or whatever. Obviously, I have the option to do either one. Kind of my mindset's been that I'm going to move on, but who knows? There's a lot of things that could happen.
So Trevor Lawrence was definitely leaving college. Now he could possibly stay.
He saw the Jets record and was like,
it's all changing. RC here with us. Ryan, good to see you entertaining us on Get Up All Morning with Dominique. Stephen A., let's put it this way. If the Jets do get that #1 pick, you're Trevor Lawrence. What are you going to do?
I'm staying in school. Or I'm going to blackmail him and pull an Eli Manning and say, I'm going anywhere but coming to you. And I take no pleasure in saying this. One of my best friends in the world, my brother Jeff Brown, who y'all all know in Cali, is a diehard Jets fan. And what he has subjected my godchildren to is just cruel and unusual punishment.
Did you just say some of my best friends are Jets fans?
No. One of my one of my best friends, meaning Jeff Brown. And he subjected my godchildren to this atrocity of being a Jets fan. The New York Jets are an atrocity. They are an abomination right now. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. They've been to a few AFC championship games when Bill Parcells was there and ultimately when Rex Ryan is there. They've had one winning season since 2010. One winning season since 2010. That's when Rex Ryan was coaching them. Obviously, that one winning season was when Todd Bowles was coaching them in 2015. I'm appalled that Todd Bowles is gone in favor of Adam Gase, who showed up to his introductory press conference. Ha! That's right, I said it. Ha! He looked high, at least from appearances perspective. Looked completely spaced out. Zooted. They've got the worst offense in football, worst in points scored, worst in yards accumulated, worst passing attack. You got a 23-year-old quarterback completing 58% of his passes that is regressing before our eyes, clearly because of the environment around him. And oh, by the way, your leading rusher, who's averaging 3.7 yards a carry, is 37-year-old Frank Gore. This is the New York Jets that we're talking about here. And Trevor Lawrence, who's chilling at Clemson, who has a career 31-1 record as a starter. The only game he's ever lost in his career was a national championship game to LSU. This brother just put up 73 points on Georgia Tech, even with while waving his hair, getting ready to steal hair commercials from Troy Polamalu and others because he's waving his hair around. He's throwing touchdowns all over the place.
His hair one more time.
Doing all of this, right? This is Trevor Lawrence, okay? And that dude playing for my brother Dabo, sweetie, he's supposed to want to come to the New York Jets? Hell no. He don't have to be a Manning to pull it off. Be just like Eli Manning, okay? You know what? You sit up there and say, hell no, I'm not coming to the New York Jets. And if that is the specter of my future, I would rather stay right here in college and wait another year and risk the potential of injury before I go play for that moribund, pathetic franchise right now. They are a disgrace because Adam Gase is a disgrace. I'm not knocking Douglas because I think he's got potential. Get rid of Adam Gase. He should have never had the job. He should be gone. He's not inspirational. He's not thorough.
Tell us how you really feel.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
You're leaving one thing out that they're leading the league in, okay?
What's that?
Losses accumulated. They are leading the league in losses accumulated. You got to give them some credit.
Okay.
Also, fewest wins.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not teamist for sure, right?
Right.
I can't be accused of being anti-Jets. Some of my best friends are Jets fans, right? Like Stephen A. Actually, that's not true. None of my best friends are Jets fans.
My boy Jeff is a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Look. Trevor Lawrence is the prize in this draft, so it seems. I go back, forget about losing to LSU, who was a better team last year, and Joe Burrow had maybe the greatest college football season of all time, capped by maybe the greatest game ever played. Like, move over, Vince Young, you have company, right? But Trevor Lawrence, the year before, dissected Alabama even better than Deshaun Watson, right? Like, and he was younger when he did it. He looks like the real deal. I've been wrong before about college quarterbacks. I thought Sam Bradford was going to take the world by storm. But damn, what any team that needs a quarterback wouldn't do for Trevor Lawrence. I'll say this. If the Jets wind up with the first pick in the draft, if I were Trevor Lawrence, even though it's not a good situation, I'd probably still enter the draft because the amount of money that you risk by staying in college in a full contact sport, even with the rules that favor their quarterback, to be honest, I think most people be like, I can't pass that up. I'm one of those people. I'll say this, Ryan, I hope the Giants fire Gettleman before this upcoming draft, because if the Giants are in position to draft him, I don't want to hear, well, Daniel Jones is our quarterback. You know, like that dude, Daniel Jones, may turn out to be a pretty good NFL quarterback eventually if he had a line and a running back and receivers and a coach and the whole thing. But he ain't no Trevor Lawrence, and I'm afraid that some idiotic GM is going to think they already have a quarterback who should be picking first if it's not the Jets and go, we're going to